Saturday Farm. Wide rolling landscape, bright sunlight. Wouldn't we all like to take a slice of British landscape home with us after a day out? Sara Howard does just that. She's a Cotswold-based landscape photographer.
Well, I've been interested in photography for probably the last 10 years, I'd say, if not more. Started my own business 3 years ago to teach other people and just pass on my knowledge to them.
Light's nice on it at the moment, isn't it?
It's wonderful, actually. I particularly love landscape photography because I love being outdoors. I love nature and just being outside and the freedom that it brings. I think to take a good landscape photograph, then it's more than just pressing the shutter. It's actually being able to visualise, to be able to put a little bit of yourself into the image making process. It's your interpretation of the scenery around you. Photographing landscapes is very different to photographing people or animals. For one thing, the subject doesn't tend to move, whereas with a person or an animal, it is, obviously. You do need a degree of patience as well, because you're often waiting for the light. It's a very different subject matter.
As a professional, she has a lot of equipment.
So this is my standard professional kit. I've got my 35mm digital DSLR camera here with the lens that I use most of the time, which is the 24 to 120mm zoom lens. So this is the most common lens that I use. I've also got a wide angle lens here, so if that's for when I want to include lots of foreground. And this is the 70 to 300mm zoom. Just enables you to get in nice and close. So it's quite good for street photography actually, when you want to get in tight on people.
There's all sorts of filters and gizmos you can use, but there's only really one essential for the beginner.
Obviously my sturdy tripod, which I couldn't be without.
Often people find their photos aren't what they expected. That's where Sara can help you get the best results from your camera.
One of the most common questions I'm asked is, why does my photograph not look like how I remember the scene to be at the time? One of the main reasons is because the light isn't right, so they're in the right place but at the wrong time of day. It'd be great if you could be there in the early hours of the day or at sunset when the light's soft, but it's also composition, so it's what you include in the image. A lot of people just sort of point and shoot, and it just doesn't work quite as effectively.
Sara gives one-on-one lessons to help people get the best results. Today Martin has booked her for a class in Snows Hill Village in the Cotswolds.
So for taking a good photograph, there are 3 fundamental rules I'd say you need to bear in mind. First is having the right light, so going out early in the morning or later in the day where possible, when the light is less harsh and it's more complementary to the landscape.
It's mid-afternoon in Snows Hill and the light's flat. The British summer isn't helping Martin one bit.
So think about the amount of sky you want to include in the shot as well.
Yeah, it's boring today now, isn't it?
So it's a bit grey, so you might want to minimise the amount of sky.
Yeah, and I thought I'd mainly try and just go for that bit around that end of the church.
The second rule.
Be aware of your composition, what you actually include in the image, but also what you decide to leave out. And try to draw the viewer into the image by use of a path or a stream or a wall. And also have a think about things that you may not want in there. So you've got a litter bin over here.
That's right, I want to get rid of that.
Yeah, and then you've got some cars on the right there, you've got the road.
Yeah, I've missed the cars.
Don't forget to move around as well, Martin. It's amazing the amount of difference just taking a couple of steps to the right or left can actually make to the way the shot looks. So you want to make sure it's all nice and sharp.
Yeah, it's on the church, so that's...
Yeah? Okay.
Take your time so you get all the subject in the shot before you click.
So you just took a shot. Have a quick look.
Oh, it's on.
Oh, just cropped a bit off the top there.
Yeah, I know, because I couldn't use the tripod.
Ah, okay. So I might want to have another go. Possibly just come out a little bit wider. And lastly, really get to know your camera. So make sure that you're familiar with its functions, what it's capable of, and know your way around your camera menu so that you can access all the functions immediately.
On modern digital cameras, things like exposure and shutter speed can be changed at the touch of a button. Best to have a go using different combinations of settings to achieve your perfect shot.
So we've got our ISO set on 200 here. So this is going to give us the best quality image ultimately. So nice and low. You can go obviously really high. So if you're shooting moving objects, you know, horses, racing cars, whatever, you're going to want a lot higher ISO. But with landscapes, and you're on a tripod as well, you're not worried about camera shake, so really keep it as low as possible for the best quality image.
And there are extra gadgets to improve your photography.
So the spirit level is quite useful just to make sure that the shot is nice and straight. So you don't want anything to be wonky, so this is quite handy.
Even on sloping ground, your horizon should be level.
You've got your cable release here as well, because obviously we're on a tripod.
Knocking the tripod at the vital moment can ruin everything.
Okay, so you've got set up, you've got your focus point sorted out as well.
I think this should be better.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
bit of a shame about that. I was struggling with the tripod. But anyway, we'll have another go.
Oh, that's a much better shot though. Much, much better. Yeah, great.
Another one for the album.